even though I was an experienced entrepreneur with 20 years of career, so yeah, not a young man, I was quite naive at some point, and that's fine. I mean, if I look in the mirror now and say, okay, you were completely naive for this first edition, that was fine because I was on the move. I was moving.
Hello, and welcome to Business Expansion Tips with your host Kanika Vasudeva. And I have a lovely guest with me today. His name is Jeremy. He's a serial entrepreneur. His latest venture, or well, let's say the love of last 4 years, has been Podcastathon. He is helping so many charities around the world get a lot more awareness with this challenge. So, Jeremy, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for having me on your show. I'm very excited to talk to you and your listeners.
Yeah, so let's begin right away and just tell us about Podcastathon. What venture is this? What got you here?
Well, thank you for asking that. And sorry first for my French accent. You know, I'm a French citizen. I know it's not a usual accent, maybe for your guest, but I'm always excited to develop what this podcast is about. And to make it short, this is a non-profit initiative, and the idea there is to convince as many podcasters as possible to dedicate one episode of their show to a charity of their choice and to release those episodes simultaneously, altogether to create a mass effect, a massive wave of audio inspiring content. It's really about raising awareness on charities because we are convinced that podcasting is a great medium to convey emotions, and that's what it takes, you know, for charities wherever in the world, in Australia or wherever else, to connect with a larger audience, to enlarge their circle of supporters, meaning potential future donors, potential future volunteers. It starts with a story. And nothing is better than podcasting to tell stories, right? So that's why we started this charity event in podcasting world. And it has become, well, I would tend to say the biggest charity event in this ecosystem, but maybe also the only one. So it's not that complicated to be the biggest. But above all, it's a growing and community-led initiative. That's what I like. It's really about word of mouth, podcasters involving other podcasters, and it means many more charities. Which are highlighted. And to give you some numbers, maybe. So March 2026 will be edition number 4. And this year, we will welcome probably over 2,600 podcasters who are already registered or pre-registered from 65 different countries and in 4 languages. Because it started in France, so that's why I have this accent. But now it's completely international, fully international with, for sure, English-speaking podcasters, and also Spanish and German-speaking podcasters who are joining for the first edition, first time in this fourth edition. So we're trying to grow steadily.
What an amazing story. What an amazing initiative. And
Thank you.
that's why I think my heart just goes here because all these charities, all these volunteers who are doing so much work, it gives them this platform to share their story and allows podcasters like me. We might have had our own lives touched by some charities. We might be
Exactly.
wanting to contribute to some cause. And this is our time to give back. This is our time to raise awareness along with the work that we do. So it's a win win and such a beautiful initiative. Thank you.
That's exactly so. And I mean, I'm not a podcaster myself, but what I've been told that podcasting is quite a solitary endeavor. But at least once a year, you feel like you're belonging to podcasting planet, you know, and everyone is contributing for better good with his or her own charity, but all together, you know, to when it's not about talking louder, it's talking together and to coordinate the efforts to make an effort and sorry to make an impact and the beauty of it is because it's becoming an event. We as organizers, we are able to onboard an organization like Acast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and many other. We will amplify the visibility of this initiative. So 1 plus 1 may equal more than 2, because you are all doing that together, and that's make it an event. So yeah, that's the concept.
Exactly. So, welcome to your fourth year, and we wish you massive success. I know I
Thank
am
you.
such a fan. I haven't recorded my podcast yet, but I've got my charity signed up, and I'm so excited to share and talk about Bears of Hope. in my
Wow.
podcast really bring their owner and just share about journey. They help people or parents who lose their kids.
Okay.
So unfortunately, or fortunately, because now that I look at the whole experience, it really transformed my life. It was such a transformative experience to be helped by them during that time because it was so shocking. But to have that support available, I just have no words for it. So I feel truly blessed that now I'm able to bring that story back because that time I was going through my own grief, through my own shock. I was not in a frame of mind to bring out any words or support or thank you to that extent to anyone. Now I'm so delighted to be able to showcase them and bring them.
Can I add something? Because we can feel, and listeners probably too, the emotion and the sincerity in your words. And personally, that's what I love in this initiative is that we we understand it's not about advertising. It's not a 30-second spot on Instagram. It's really about real stories coming from people who experience something and want to share that with their talents. I mean, you're a great speaker and your audience, and you will share that, and that will, I mean, that's a good teasing, but that will probably lead to a very moving episode. And beyond that, I hope personally that it will help other people or maybe convince other people, other listeners to get involved into these organizations as if we are planting seeds in the mind of some people, and they might one day become volunteers or donate because they will remember your story, because first they like you and they follow you, and then they will associate this concept and this organization, this cause, to your specific case, not just, I've been told that it's existing and I'm not emotionally connected. So you connect emotionally people thanks to your story, and you can rely on me. I will listen to this episode because I'm super sure that it will be very moving and very concrete.
Thank you. Talking about you and your initiative, this podcast really is about business expansion. A lot of the people listening, they're wanting to start their own journeys. And I brought you especially on because you've got this charity growth or this event that has actually become really huge. Did you know 4 years ago that this is how it was going to plan out? Did you have that vision already?
To be honest, no, completely. It was we were starting from scratch in 2023 with just a concept, just an idea. We were not starting from nothing, because I mean, I'm saying we first because we are two co-founders, and I should name Yves Delnat from France. By the way, I'm living in Montreal, in Canada, and we met in Montreal, and we wanted to do something that could have an impact. You can call that midlife crisis, maybe. I'm almost 50. Um, so we had this idea, but first, I mean, we are not podcasters ourselves, so we were not sure that it would be a good idea, and even not sure at all that it would work. It would be, I mean, the first objective was maybe to bring together 100 podcasters from France. So and we managed to bring together 300 eventually. So it was kind of a success with great podcasters, value-driven podcasters, some with very large audience and some more niche or newer, and that was fine. I mean, we love the fact that it was a mix of different podcasters regardless of the audience. But after that, for the second edition, I was personally super scared because you never know. If you're trying to do it again, uh, some podcaster may say, okay, it was a nice one shot, but I don't need to do that I mean, every year. Or I can do that anytime. I don't have to coordinate with the others. And so we were kind of, worried that it wouldn't work the second time. But it kind of worked. I mean, we managed to get something like 400 podcasters at the time, and extended it to French-speaking countries, so not only France, but also Belgium, Switzerland, and Quebec in Canada, where I live. Some podcasts from Africa too. So it was nice. And that's how we started to get some kind of ambition and saying, okay, it seems to be working in the French speaking countries. No reason why it shouldn't work elsewhere. So why not trying with the English speaking countries? And it's a brand new world for us, for French citizen. So yeah, we started, and last year in 2025, 1,500 podcasters were there, including many from USA, but also Australia, also Canada, the rest of Canada, UK for sure, and countries that I like Nigeria, India, New Zealand, and many different countries. So there were 40 different countries at the time. And yeah, now we're trying to say, okay, we can extend it, as I said, to Spanish speaking podcasters, German speaking podcasters, and maybe other languages in the future.
Love that. And I hope the whole initiative continues growing and growing. And I am super interested right now to know, I'm sure the listeners are as well, that you started with that idea and then you got to 300 in the first year. Did you have a strategy and plan for that, how you would go about it?
My personal mindset is just do it, and that might remember something. No, sorry, there was a joke, but just try first. So it was kind of, let's convince the first 10, right? Let's do that. So we haven't talked about my career so far, but I used to work in the digital world in France as an entrepreneur. So I had many contacts in this large ecosystem. So I started to call a few friends, a few former clients, and say, hey, do you know podcasters? Could you introduce me to some of them? And after a few days, maybe 2 weeks maximum, we managed to convince a good dozen of podcasters, at least that the concept was okay for them, and they would participate if we were to organize it eventually. So from those 12, it was easier to do some name droppings and do some, contacts, direct contacts, mailing on LinkedIn or things like that, and say, hey, you don't know me. I know you're a great podcaster. We are trying to organize the biggest charity event in France, in the podcasting world. And here are the names who already said they would participate. Probably you know half of them. So are you okay? Are you in? And it was quite long, to convince, from 12 to 25, then 25 to 30 and 50. But at one point, the word of mouth started to spark, and that's why we went far beyond the 100 and eventually 300. So it was really a question of consistency and trying to amplify the word of mouth. Anyway, we didn't have any budget, any communication budget, so the options are quite limited. In that case, that your energy, and trying to convince one by one great podcasters.
I love that. I love the honesty with which you've shared it. And I always keep saying the same thing as well. We think that the most successful people have a really big plan, and they might do, but I find that the most successful people, the recurring trait with them is that they just go out and do it. Like the fastest amount of time in which you can do it, that determines your degree of success. If you're taking a long time to just get perfect and nail out the perfect presentation or all those things, you'd rather go out, try,
Exactly.
fail a lot of
Fail
times
or
as well,
adjust,
improve,
pivot. Exactly.
improve, change your thing, and then keep going. That's how you get perfect. You don't get perfect trying to just learn and so on. So I love that. And I love how you've also talked about literally, starting at that zero, because people see the success after some time and people go, oh, 4 years and this is amazing. But it
Mm.
starts with the grunt work. Like you have to be ready to do that grunt work and go, okay, I'm going to start with the one. Then you're counting your first five, you're counting your first 10, and it's slowly.
Like,
And then there's a traction that picks up. The success is not built overnight, but it starts with that grunt work. Eventually it scales.
and I can tell you something, and I'm fully honest. Even though I was an experienced entrepreneur with 20 years of career, so yeah, not a young man, I was quite naive at some point, and that's fine. I mean, if I look in the mirror now and say, okay, you were completely naive for this first edition, that was fine because I was on the move. I was moving. So, for example, we thought at the time that we would collect large number of euros or dollars or whichever the currency. And then talking to podcasters and also to charities, we realized that the value of podcasting was not there because naively, I thought that, you would listen to an episode and say, okay, I will donate to this charity, the one you mentioned, for example. But we realized after that, and it took quite a while, that it's not working that way. It's not because you're listening once about an episode about charity you never heard before, you didn't know that you will become a supporter of this charity. It takes time, but that's the first step because you can't donate to a charity you never heard of, and it takes also confidence to be confident on the fact that it's a serious organization. So if I trust you, and you're talking to a charity you care about, no, I'm transferring your trust, because I trust you, I trust this charity to be, I mean, serious in their work and in their endeavor. And that would be the first space before maybe one day donate or become volunteer or do something else. Could be just subscribing to the newsletter, could be following them on social networks. So we moved. The first ambition, we were collecting money just like galas and marathons and all those very classical ways of getting some donations for the charities, to something which is maybe a step ahead, which is awareness. Awareness. And if you think about that, any charity, they need to enlarge the database of potential donors. So how do you do that? I mean, you could try social networks. I mentioned that, but the value of podcasting is really there, and that's something we realized only because it was not in a chart, it was not in the original plan, it was only because we were discussing with both podcasters and charities, and they made us change our mind. So I mean, that's exactly what you were saying. Just be on the move, be a fast learner, be curious, ask questions, adjust your pitch, adjust your concept if need be, and keep on growing.
So, thank you for sharing that. And now I'm curious about the people that you've had with you in your team, in your journey. So, in the beginning, it was just you and your co founder along with you. Did that team grow in size?
This is a volunteer-based initiative, so I'm volunteering my time. I can afford it. I was fortunate enough to sell my two companies, and so I can afford not to get to be paid for at least a few years. I'm not Bill Gates, right? But I can. I mean, I decided to do that. Eve, the other co-founder, is still working, so he's trying to dedicate a few hours per week. So we recruited one person. We didn't get that great budget, so just one person. So we were two, full time, let's say, plus Eve trying to help, and a bunch of volunteers joining for a few hours to a few days, sometimes from time to time. So it was really about how can we coordinate the effort of all those volunteers. And it's not like, having some employees. It's very different. I mean, I used to have companies with till 100 employee, and it works. You expect them to be there in the morning, and you have managers and things like that. With volunteers, it's different because you can't, for sure, you can force them to be there at a specific time. They can decide last minute not to come, and you can't blame them for that because they are volunteering their time. So you need to get a very flexible organization. And well, we try to be fast learners with that, but it was sorry, oops, I should switch that. We were trying to make sure that even though we're a small team, we keep it very dynamic. And as I mentioned, it was really a community-led initiative. So you try to rely on other podcasters to convince them to join too, and then you do your best. But the first edition, it was really a mess. And I mean, if you look in the backstage, it was really a mess because we didn't get the good tools. We were not properly organized. We were sent. For example, you're talking to, I don't know, 200, 300 persons, 300 podcasters, and eventually, or 500, and eventually 300 will participate. But if it's, I mean, we had some Excel sheet and emails, and nothing was coordinated. And if I was talking to someone, my other colleague might not know that. So these kind of things. And I mean, if you were judging me at the time, you say, "Come on, you can't success with that. You're not organized." I don't, and I knew that because I used to be quite an organized entrepreneur. But it was okay. It was the first edition. Again, just be on the move, and we learned after this first edition. So the second edition was much more structured. I would say professional. It's not exactly a good term because we were not making money, but it was much more organized with, for example, a good backhand, kind of CRM. Um, yeah, so a few channels of communication and things like that. So it was much easier after that, and that was a good thing because now with 2,600 podcasters involved, you have to be super organized to coordinate everything. And it started the first edition with the mistakes we made at the time.
Yeah, I think it brings me also that a lot of people want that overnight success, but there's a lot of work that goes beyond that. You need to be ready as well to handle that success. So there, it might feel slow sometimes, but the time and the learning that you have during that time to be able to grow, that is fundamental to have a more sustainable business. What, in your view, was, the big, let's say, the foundation blocks that you were working so that your business would scale right, your initiative would scale right?
You mean for the following editions or the very
Yeah,
first?
yeah. From the first, like, what did you take? What were the things that you tried to make sure that, okay, this is good, we keep this, either in terms of the roles and responsibilities or in the terms of systems or processes that you were building? Quick pause here. So, if you have been showing up, sharing your work, but still sales are not kicking in, then it's not your fault. It's usually a messaging problem or an energetic block. And that is easy to fix once you know what to look at. So book a free sales energetic audit with me at artoflifecenter.com/sales. And let's get your income and clients flowing, shall we?
Yeah. Well, the first thing is about donation. At first, we thought it was we needed to be KPI driven. We thought that it was important to be able to be back to all of those podcasters and say, hey, we managed to collect that amount of money, but we quickly understood that it was too complicated because imagine 300 different podcasters with probably 300 different charities. Some charities were having their tools with that kind of company. Some other were just expecting awareness. For example, against bullying at school, you don't really need money. You just need awareness and promotion. And if there's a phone number to call if you're a victim, they just need to share that number. So we at first we tried to somehow force them to give us the number that was collected, but it was completely I mean it was completely naive again because I mean you can donate 6 months later and we can't track that when you change in channel from podcasting to donating online. It's not something you can track. So we decided to go against all the advice and say, okay, let's make it as simple as possible. It's a podcaster, a mic, a charity, and that's it. Either any impact? Probably. Can we measure it? No, we can't. And that's fine. We decided that would be fine. So instead of adding complexity, and you say, okay, we're growing, we now try to imagine some tools that will, aggregate all the donation from podcaster one to podcaster 2,600. Um, we made exactly the opposite and say, okay, we accept the fact that we won't be able to say to anyone that we managed to collect that amount of money. And that's fine because not everything should be a KPI driven, okay? Charity is not something we can measure on an Excel sheet. And that's fine, it's like education. I mean, how do you measure the efficiency of 1 hour at school? You can't. But you know that you need to send your kids at school. That's good for them. Exactly the same here. So that was the first point. Dropping any ambition in that particular notion of KPIs. And after that, it was also we accepted the fact that it will be a word of mouth initiative. And so how can we make sure that word of mouth will work? How can we encourage podcasters to talk about our initiative? It has to be, as simple as possible. I mean, you can't expect helping charities and spending a lot of money just to promote your initiative and spending money to, make sure that podcasters will hear about you. That's fine. Even in the second edition in the English speaking, let's talk about French speaking podcasters instead. So that would be edition number 4. And there are podcasters after 4 years still saying, hey, I didn't know about this edition, but I've been podcasting for 5 years or more and never heard about you guys. How come? That's fine. I mean, sorry, word of mouth hasn't come just that it hasn't reached you so far, but now you're there. Perfect. You're more than welcome. And we accept the fact that we won't be able to talk to all podcasters. We're trying to target the value-driven ones. And sorry if we can't talk to all of them, but that will come next year or the year after. That's fine. And that's probably where the beauty of the concept relies on, because that's that initiative is seen as as a community led initiative and not just two guys from France or Canada organizing something, right? I don't know. It's okay if they don't know my name. I don't care about that. I don't have any ego on that. I just want to be sure that they will learn about podcasting somehow, and somehow is not something I can control, but that's fine.
Thank you for sharing that, because it gives a different way of thinking about how charities or initiatives are really being run. It's a different ball game trying to run a business where money is not the driver, because in effect in our lives we need money every day for everything. And especially in your case, you've been a serial entrepreneur. You have helped companies be more profitable. You've obviously, that's been the main driver for you in terms of the impact or the KPI. So that's a very different mindset. What got you really starting Podcastathon? Like, I'm trying to understand your mindset shift.
So
What
I had
shifted
sold
things for you?
at two companies. The second one was just before COVID. And, I guess COVID changed the lives of many, many people. So at that time, I had a choice. Either I started a third one, probably in Canada, because I moved to Canada at the time, or I thought to myself, well, it's not or, and I thought to myself, what would be the ambition and why? What would be the driver? Do I need a fancy watch? No, I don't have any watch. Do I need a luxury car? No, I don't like that. I don't like that. Uh, it- I mean, again, I'm not Bill Gates, but I tend to think that I have enough money in my bank account to send my kids, 3 kids, at university and to live very decently, and that's fine for me. But still had a lot of energy. So you want to be an entrepreneur, but you're not motivating by the fact that you make more money. You need to change your ambition. If money is not the driver anymore, it has to be something else. And that could be altruism, but again, maybe it's midlife crisis. Don't really know why, but at some point you say, okay, I tend to think I was very lucky for many reasons. And one of them was to sell my company just before COVID, because if I had waited 6 months more, probably the value of it would have dropped from, I don't know which number, but um, being lucky, either you can go and play golf all day long, but I'm not good at golf and I don't like that. Or you say, okay, I was lucky, I had some energy. What can I do as an entrepreneur to use my experience, but not for me this time, but for others? I know it sounds, but I think I'm being honest while saying that. I wanted to, and it's not a sacrifice, because I love what I'm doing. So it's a real intellectual pleasure. It's also kind of, I feel like I'm free now. Don't have to, having some dashboard and monthly reporting and, managing people and trying to satisfy your clients. It was great for 20 years. Now you're trying to help charities and do something for what we could call a greater good. and that's fueling my energy all day long. And I think I'm a bit prouder of myself, and also maybe a better example for my kids. So that would be probably my drivers.
Yeah, no, love that. The audience for our show, they're all heart-led entrepreneurs or aspiring to be ones. So they're
Yeah.
all leading with their passion and their heart first. So it is amazing to see you as well, bringing your expertise from your previous ventures and then bringing that into this initiative. So that's amazing. What is the vision that you have for Podcastathon going forward?
Um, I don't know. Or I should answer that. I'm not thinking about that. I'm trying just to be on the move. I know there would be a limit. I know, for example, now it's interesting because we arrive at the point where it might become too large for my shoulders. Be honest with you, because it's growing too fast, and we are very small teams, still a very small team, and a lot of volunteers. At one point, you say, okay, if I wanted to keep on growing, probably we need to move to another phase with some employees. And more people, better staff or larger staff maybe, probably some financial means invested on better tools, more automations and things like that. But I don't know if it would correspond to the core principle of the initiative. I would fear losing the human side of it if it's too automatic, if it's too automatized. Um, and if we are spending too much money in the admin things and not into the field and the causes. But that's really a question we have in our mind. I think after this fourth edition, we will try to decide. I would be happy to know your opinion on that, but it's really about, just like a company, when you're growing, you decided to either I grow, but I need to change completely my structure, my staff. I need to invest a lot in mid managers, for example. That would be a step. Or I want to keep it small. Small is beautiful, and that's fine. And I'm happy like that. And I don't need to make it work. That would be a challenge. Should we try to convince 5,000 podcasters? If so, it sounds like great, but it takes a lot of effort and probably many more financial means, that's the one we have now. Or should we keep it this size? And that's also an option, So far, I'm a bit stuck with that reasoning. I'm eager. I mean, if among your listeners, some may write to us and give us their opinion, I'd be pleased to get the insight of great entrepreneurs like you are, and you're listening
Yeah,
to us.
absolutely. I think I love that. That's what I was thinking as well. That if you have any advice, what should be done, especially if you have been close to running other charity events and you know how they can really sustain or scale, grow, shoot some comments. Jeremy, reach out to Jeremy and give him your tips, but definitely let us know.
On LinkedIn, it's quite easy to reach out to me, so never hesitate.
Okay. What's your handle on LinkedIn while you're at it? I will put that in the show notes as well, but just for listeners who might be driving in their car.
Yeah, so my name is Jeremie Mani, Mani. So on LinkedIn, you just input my name. Jeremie is Mie, the French way, and Mani in 4 letters, Mani, and you'll find me easily. Or if not, you just write down Podcaston. So that's T podcast HON at the end, like marathon. And on the website, you can write to contact at podcaston.org, and somehow it will arrive to me, either directly or indirectly. We are a very small team, so we try to reply to any email within 24 hours. That's our challenge, but we try to keep to that objective. So far, we managed to do it. So yeah, we're always pleased to get any feedback, constructive, answers, or even negative answers, negative feedbacks. We're taking that to make progress. Yeah, to progress, to move to be better for the next edition.
Yeah, beautiful. Thanks, Jeremy. I'll have that on the show notes as well. Um, you've done this for 4 years. Such a beautiful initiative. Do you have one or two stories to share with us? What came out of it for your charities or the podcasters themselves?
Well, the thing is, I have so many stories. It would be super difficult to pick up a few. Each personally, what I love is that if you're visiting our website and you scroll down, you'll see episode from last edition. So in 2025, they're still online, and even just looking at the covers of the episode, you realize the vast array of causes that are highlighted, and the way they are featured by podcasters. Sometimes it's quite dark cover, a very serious subject. Sometimes it's lighter, or because I mean the cause is maybe um, I, I'm not sure I have the appropriate word for that, but maybe yeah, less serious, but could be useful too. We're not talking about disease. We're not talking about things like that. Um, and every time we get feedback from, it's not aggregated feedback, but we get feedback from charities. We want to be back from one year to another one. They explain why. And we're trying to sum that up into a testimonial page that will be available online shortly. And most of the time, it's really human stories. It might not sound like super impactful. For example, if you think about a very local charity somewhere in Africa saying, "Hey, thanks to the episode of these great podcasters, we managed to get 3 new volunteers. And with them, we could double our effort," or something like that. Sounds like very subtle and light consequence for them, but I mean, for us, at least as the listeners, but for them, it seems to be huge. Some of them will say, we managed to get some grants because the episode was listened to, I don't know, this jury, and they were touched, moved by the conversation. It could be also, new partner for charity joining because they were listeners of the show and things like that. So it's an aggregate of hundreds, literally hundreds, and even more different stories. And sometimes we don't get any feedback, but that's fine. I mean, seem to be satisfied with the episode because they want to be invited at another mic the following edition. So it's fine if they don't take the time to explain why. We don't expect them to spend time for us. We are trying to help them, not the opposite. But yeah, many stories like that. So I strongly encourage your listeners to be curious, and if not from 2025, to listen to episode in 2026, maybe randomly. It's a nice experience. I encourage you, just take a picture, a cover randomly, and listen to the first 5 minutes of the episode, and I can bet that in 95% of the case, you will want to listen to the full episode and not just the first 5 minutes, because you will be surprised by the enthusiasm, the energy of the charity. If it's an interview, it's always super interesting. If it's a solo at the mic episode, the podcaster is most of the time so enthusiastic about the charity he or she is talking about that you want to understand why, and you will listen to the full episode.
I think what you are doing is such a breath of fresh air. Generally, when we read the news or in a
Totally agree.
general
Mm.
sense with the media, there's a sense of doom and gloom, and how there's more competition, like especially the media now. It seems to be a little bit crazy and crazier every day with the stories going on in all different parts of the world. But when you bring these stories, it it brings to us that there is so much humanity alive all around us. There are
And I can
people.
uh, I can quote, if you to add on top of what you're saying. You might not know Mathieu Ricard. He's a French Buddhist monk, but also very popular because in France, because he's doing a lot of good things with his charity. And he wrote a book about altruism, and he wrote something that struck me. It was something like, you will always speak about two people fighting at each other, but never about 100% collaborating. And that won't be in the news, because it seems to be just normal that we are collaborating. And so that's what we're trying to do. You're right with this podcast, and it's just showcasing, highlighting all those people who are doing such great action on the field for many causes, Could be for education, could be for biodiversity, could be against any kind of poverty, or I mean, the list goes on. It can be any cause, but they are there, and against what we can hear on the news or watch on the news on the TV news or on newspaper. They are doing great things, and most of the time it's purely altruistic. So altruism is really the key word in what we're trying to do, and yeah, that's exactly this objective to make sure that they are more known because they deserve to be more known.
Absolutely. And so, thank you for this work. And thank you to all the listeners as well. Because whatever you are going through life right now, maybe your own business initiative feels hard, maybe there's something about life that feels hard. Each of these stories that are covered during Podcastathon, they're all stories of inspiration. They're all stories of grit. They're all stories where somebody took a challenge and said, well, I'm going to shift this story. So that is inspiration for you. And thank you so much, Jeremy, for bringing this into the world and to your entire team.
I'm the one thanking you because thanks to you, we managed to touch new people and to, share this, spread the word about this podcast and initiative. So never hesitate if you're listening to us. Be curious, visit the website mid-March, listen to episodes, and talk to your neighbors about that. It's really about word of mouth.
Beautiful. All right. So now you know you can go out and check Jeremie Mani on LinkedIn, or you can check out Podcastathon, connect with us, tune in March to listen to all these lovely stories. We are coming very close to wherever you are listening. We will be flooding those platforms. So we look forward to hearing from you. Okay, take care, and I'll see you next time with another episode.
Thank you.